Thank you. We all love Amazon. I mean, not the .com Amazon, but the Amazon. And for different reasons, we love Amazon. Some of us love because of the jungle, others because the rivers, the rains, the biodiversity, and most the people. But we all also suffer for Amazon because of the deforestation that, unfortunately, this year is rising up again in Brazil. Because the illegal exploitation of the timber in the Amazon. Because the fire that kill animals and plants and release tons of carbon to the atmosphere. But also, we suffer because of extreme poverty that condemns a lot of families in the Amazon to the misery. And also, the violence. Last year, 9 in 10 murders that occurs in rural areas in Brazil occurring in the Amazon. Brazil is one of the countries with the highest death rate due to social environmental conflicts in the world. And most of them are now happening in the Amazonia. Both Amazonia, the Amazonia that we love and the Amazonia that we suffer, challenge us to action. An action to conserve, which means to continue to create new protected areas and indigenous territories to conserve the pristine territories. At least 10 million of hectares is still be needed to be created in Amazon in the coming years for that. But we also have to restore the several hundreds of hectares of the forest that was illegally cut down in the Amazonia. But it's not an action to conserve and to restore, but it is also to give hope. To give hope not only for the future generations who live in Amazonia, but for the present generations. Not only for the people who live in the Amazon, but for the whole people in this entire planet who depend upon the ecosystem service that Amazonia provides to everyone. And restoration, it's a big piece of that. For meeting the 30% potential that nature has as a climate solution, we need to do restoration. It's our best hope right now to remove carbon dioxide of the atmosphere at the scale. And not only that, to sustain life in all its forms, including our own. Brazil set a very ambitious target for restoration under the Paris Agreement, 12 million hectares, but even in our national policy for native vegetation restorations. And we count that at least for 4 or 5 million hectares of that commitment, it is right now in Amazonia, need to be restored in Amazonia. It's a very bold commitment, but it's not a government commitment. It is a commitment of all of us, the civil society, the global society. And the challenge right now to meet this challenge, it's exactly to do what we've been done so far in Brazil. There's a lot of restoration projects that is going on in the past, 2 or 3 decades, not only Amazonia, but in the entire country. But we have to scale up this restoration initiatives to meet this ambitious goal. Not only doing that, but reducing the cost and making more effective the use of the resources that we have. I'm glad to see that only in the Spanish we have almost $1 billion on the table for solutions like that. But not only doing that, we really need, under the restoration chain, to create a real employment and income opportunities for people who live in Amazonia. That is the only way to involve people on that and to break the vicious cycle of violence and destruction that it happens right now in Brazil. And to do that, CI has been working with an extensive network of partners in Brazil, trying to do or implementing different strategies to bring people together to meet this challenge. Number one, we know that to do that, we need more people involved, not people, but also organizations. We have to work together in a very collaborative environment to achieve the impact. and also bringing together the general audience and the people to understand the importance of the Amazonia and the importance to give it back, the trees. No restoration activity will be successful if we fail to bring people to the center of the debate. And of course, secure the funds for field impact. But I'm not, concerned right now with the funds because, as you can see, there's a lot of money on the table with the GF, More Foundation, and others. How we are doing that in Brazil? Number one, we create, along with partners, this Alliance for Amazon Restoration, which means we basically put together all the organizations, bring together all the organizations that are working with restoration in the Amazonia. Right now, it's up to 6 different organizations, from NGOs, from national, subnational governments, from community associations, university, companies, research centers, all together, sitting together on the same table and working together to find out the solution to scale up the Amazonia. Each one of these organizations is like a piece of a Lego, and we are working together, make this piece bounded together to create something bigger than what we are doing alone itself. And also for communication, we were able to create a very new and fancy platform to bring people together in partnership with one of the coolest festival music in Brazil, which is Rock in Rio. A year ago, we launched this platform called Amazon Alive, and at the main stage, we had the Brazilian top model, Gisele Bündchen, and Ivete Sangalo, another very popular Brazilian singer, announcing and inviting people to join the restoration effort, to talk about the Amazonia, to talk about the importance of protecting it, to restore the Amazonia. It is a way to bring people to the debate, because everybody loves music, everybody loves pop culture. It is a way to do that. Instantly, when we launch this platform, several musicians and artists sign up and say, okay, I'm on, I wanted to help you to do that. And most of them, as you can see, Elton John, David Guetta, Maroon 5, Katy Perry, John Legend, even the Slipknot, people think that they're evil, but they're helping Amazon. They're not evil, they're helping Amazon. Slipknot, and Faith No More, Limp Bizkit, Rod Stewart, and a lot of Brazilian artists, they sign up. They sign instruments and say, okay, let's put these instruments to auction to raise funds for the Amazon restoration. And more than that, some of them created opportunity for meet and greet with the fans to continue to talk about it, to expand the conversation and say, okay, here we are for the Amazon and the restoration is a responsibility for all of us. As a result of this coalition and bringing the people together, we were able to announce at the time the largest restoration project in a rainforest in the world, which means we are now planting 7 million trees in 30,000 hectares in the Brazilian Amazonia. You can say this. We're still talking about thousands of hectares, and we know that we have to restore millions of hectares. But that's the idea, is to start to make the ball rolling, people get involved, and creating this ripple effect that will bring more and more partners. Partners like the GEF that is part of this initiative, the Amazon Fund in Brazil, right now in conversation with the Green Climate Fund, and every people in Brazil, every person in Brazil that donated through the channel that we create to do that. Because we really believe that if we bring people together to find a good solution and work together, we really cannot not only meet the Paris goal that Brazil set, but more than that, we will be able to restore the Amazonian with people, for the people, and for the planet. Please join us. Thank you.